welcome to Trashy Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people. I look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I'm your host.
My name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host. How are you?
You know, such a dicey question these days.
Yeah, it is. You don't have to answer if it's too personal. You
You know,
don't
I'd
have to
honestly, I'd
answer.
rather have some privacy at this time. Thank you so
I,
much.
I,
My
yeah.
my dear friend Kate Middleton is still missing, and they've hired a Katie Holmes lookalike to replace her in images in blurry paparazzi footage. So I need some time. Thank you. Thank you for respecting my
Mm-hmm.
privacy. Thank you.
Yeah, that story really blew up. I mean, I don't want to say we were first on it, but we
No,
were
we were
early on it.
literally near the last. We
No
ev-
way. I feel no because I
ev-
feel like
if
I'm
you
seeing
are
it
a
now.
person of the internet, this story has been brewing since mid-January. So we
Eh,
are
if you're a person of like the royals, and I don't think that we were the first of
no
like people
gay
who like
Twitter's
care
been
about
on
the
this since
royals.
like February 14th. Like
Uh,
it's been happening. You are just not an internet person. It finally came to a tipping point last week.
I feel like we got on it around the same time or earlier than all of like the before like when you told me about it and we recorded about it, that's when I suddenly started to hear about it. And it's not
Sure.
one of those situations where it's like, oh, like you don't see Kia Souls all over the place until you actually drive one. I
Yeah.
think it genuinely like I think that we kicked it off.
We were on trend. We're pretty
Yeah,
trendy.
a
Yeah.
little bit trendy.
I
You know,
don't
it's hard when we have to pre-record sometimes. Like
yeah,
right
for
now
sure.
we're recording, like 5 days before this actually drops. Like who knows what the fuck's going to happen in the next 5 days.
Speaking of trendy, you know what I'm
Yeah.
not loving? The resurgence of the Y2K. Like if we look at ourselves, it was ugly then. What are we doing, Gen Z, Gen Alpha? What do you
They actively hate us and then they dress like we did. I will say there's some stuff that's okay, but like yeah, for the most part, the heroin chic is bad. The super baggy clothes I is bad in my opinion. What I'm waiting for to come back specifically, do you remember those shirts that were just like it was a plain t-shirt with a big slab of Velcro on it and it came with a baggie of letters so that you could make your shirt say whatever you wanted?
No, I never saw such. I was a
What?
baby doll. Like the sleeve and the collar were one color, the shirt was a different color, very slim fit. I had one that said make 7 up yours, but it said like yours on the back. So I was
I
like
think
up yours or up yours was on the back and it was like make 7 up. And I got in trouble for that.
was a very famous commercial campaign back
It
then. It was make
was. It
7 up yours.
was. Yeah.
I that we were like alive in middle school at the time, middle school-ish, elementary school-ish, where like even high school-ish, where it was very, very hot to have t-shirts that said things, like
Superman. I had a 7 make 7 up yours one. Got milk.
you're lucky I'm out of bed.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
who was the rude bunny, bad
The the
who
Paul
was the
Frank
bunny?
monkey
The Paul Frank monkey, but then there was also like a bunny
that was
that had
rude.
it was like
Mm.
rude bunny. Hold on. Rude bunny shirt 2000s rude bunny. What is this thing? Happy
Happy
bunny.
bunny. Happy bunny.
It's all
Still a
about
hot
me.
topic
Deal with
today.
it.
Yeah.
And like the bunny, hey, you made me throw up a little bit. Like that's like on t-shirts. This was like very, very
Mhm.
hot.
And I see the kids wearing it and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The one that I saw recently too was those bubble shirts that like
Yes.
are like the size of the palm of your hand and then they expand to somehow
Yes. Oh, the
and they
ruching.
say one size fits all, but when you're like a little chubby kid, that's not true. And then but you're like probably not even that chubby. You're just told that you're chubby because on America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks says that everyone is fat.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, what a time to be alive.
And these kids want to get back there. It's bizarre. I just want
They
to be like,
they don't
no,
know what they want, babe.
do the
This is
skincare. Don't wear the clothes.
you've seen these articles about how like everyone's like, why does Gen Z look older than the millennials?
There was a girl recently on the internet that asked her followers, how old do I look? And everyone said 30s and 40s because she gets filler all the time. And she was like commenting on, and she's like, I'm 22. And everyone's like, yes, filler is meant to replace what is not there, not add. When you add, you look older. Sorry. And she was like kind of defensive about it because she's like, you guys really loved my filler journey and I always took you along for all my appointments. And it's like,
Then why did you ask, girl?
don't ask.
Don't ask
Don't ask.
questions you won't want the answers to.
Yeah, don't ask. Don't ask. The only question I want to hear the answer to is asking Austin Butler any question. He has just such a
Okay.
sing-songy way, like in this press circuit for Dune 2, the Dunening. Um, I just the way he's just like, "Oh, Radiohead is my favorite album right now. It like In Dreams is part like, just his answer to questions like In Rainbows is it's a perfect album. Just he's trying to shed his Elvis, but there's like it's still there. It's still in there. And Timothy Chalamet just looks at him lovingly while he answers questions. It's I could just watch his press circuits all day.
Didn't they found old interviews of him before he played Elvis and after, and he like is different?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like Elvis will never leave him. He's shedding it a little bit, but we'll never go back to Orange County Kid.
And why should he? He's trying to be a movie star.
He's a fucking movie star, okay? Sorry, he's a fucking movie star, all right? Now, if I see him in an elevator bank, he's not getting a casual, "Hey, good to see you again." It's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be awkward. I'll just say that much. I'm like, "Oh, you're dating Cindy Crawford's daughter?" Not today.
Today you're dating me in this elevator.
And I'm mad you didn't call last night. So now we're gonna get in a fight, but then we're gonna smile when we get out of the bank. Yeah, of course, we're gonna do a full whole couple fight.
I love it. Why? The only thing I want to know, only thing
Yeah.
I want to ask someone is why. I want to ask you why you're trash.
A dog hit me yesterday.
What?
I was driving out in the beach areas and it's nighttime. So, of course, headlights on, driving safely in a neighborhood below the speed limit. And there's a giant white fluffy dog on the sidewalk with his owner, presumably, right? And I'm like, that dog doesn't look leashed. And then that dog takes off, like beelines it for the for the front of my car. I think I'm running over this dog. Stirs up all the trauma from my childhood and my childhood dogs being run over by my grandpa most of the time in front of me. And then I hear a thud. And I mean, I'm slamming on the brakes. Like my back seat came unhooked, like I lurch, slam the brakes, and I, the order to park though, hit the brakes, and I am like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, because I hear thud, right? And I'm like, I've just run over this dog in front of this man. This dog was not leashed, which that's a whole separate conversation. And I'm just like, okay. And then I see the dog run off. And I'm like, is he okay? And the guy comes and I'm like rolling my window down. I'm about to get out of the car. And the guy comes up and he goes, hey, is your car okay? And I'm like, I was so jarred by the question. Because I think I'm about to get screamed at for, quote, running over this dog, And the dog had hit the side of my car. That was the thud, was the dog torpedoing my passenger side door.
Did you then proceed to fucking lose it on this person?
I mean, I was like, I hope your dog's running away to the leash store. I hope he goes, hey, my guy's going to be here in a minute. Can I get started on the leashes? I don't have any money on me, but like my guy's coming. I'm just going to go ahead and start leashing. If that's okay. I was like, ooh. But he's also, I realized his dog, I don't know if it was on purposely not leashed or if it had gotten out of a leashed area. So he's just like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, I mean, did I hit your dog?" He's like, "No, the dog hit your car. He just hit the side of your door. I don't think it's dented." And then just takes off for his Clifford, the big white dog, you know?
Oh my God. I have no, who knows? Maybe the dog did just get out, but like I have so little space for people who don't put their dogs on leashes. You are
There were a
being so
million
irresponsible. I
so
don't care.
irresponsible.
I don't care if you say, "Oh, this dog, they won't go." Trust me and this dog, trust me. No,
Bitch, he's a
wrong.
wolf.
This dog, I've had dogs that trusted me too, and fortunately nothing happened to them, but I'm not walking around on city streets, on busy streets, on streets where cars are with a dog that's not on a leash because it doesn't matter what you think.
So I throw the hazards on. I
It
turn the
takes
car
one
off.
squirrel.
One squirrel.
It takes one squirrel. And
You and
then,
your this dog could be been abandoned in the wilderness, just fucking hatchet style, become the best of friends, so you'll never leave each other. One squirrel comes along.
or like one asshole ripping down an alley,
You know? And
and but the dog is walking in front of
oh
you.
my God.
And like, you just, I
Well, then
really,
my car
mm,
has
mm.
like, a dog-sized little dent in it,
Does it really?
a little one, but that guy's
Oh my God.
gone. And I'm like, well, uh, and then of course my mind goes to, was this just a meet cute and he just wanted to get my number?
And
But
that's why you're trash.
and that's why I'm trash. But then a lady was like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, I don't know. She's like, I was like, "Is the dog okay?" Like I'm asking her because like no one has confirmed that the dog is not underneath my car, even though I've seen it running away. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
mentally, I need someone to say the dog is fine.
Right.
And the guy was really cute. I was like, "Damn it!" And he ran away with chasing after the dog, and the lady's like, "I saw the whole thing. Do you need a hug?" And I was like, I and then of course I trauma dump on the stranger where I'm like, I was just thinking all my childhood dogs and like them getting run over, and she was like, "Uh-huh." And like and the stranger hug on the sidewalk. Meanwhile, my car's just in the middle of the street, hazards on, door open, it's just an insane
It,
scenario where I'm like, okay, what's happening? That's why I'm trash. I
if that
did go, is this
makes
guy just trying to get to
people,
know me?
if that makes people want to change their mind about moving to LA, like, I think that you have done something successful here.
We're full. Don't come here.
Obviously.
Hi. Cass, why are you trash?
Well, we were talking about like the nostalgic Y2K, like we were talking about all this nostalgia and stuff, and you had said something the other day that reminded me of this, but was there anything hotter than, was there anything hotter in 2004 to 2009, I'll say?
Okay.
Was there anything hotter than a girl with a belly button ring?
No.
No, you're right. There was nothing hotter than that. Britney Spears had one. Christina Aguilera had one.
Mhm.
Did Britney Spears have one? I know Christina Aguilera had one. It doesn't matter. The belly button rings were just, they were everything. And I had one. I had to get it. I had to ask my mom to take me to a piercing shop to get it. I wasn't going to be one of those girls doing it with a safety pin. It wasn't like, it wasn't going to work. And I didn't drive yet, so I didn't know about this place in Sunland who would just pierce and tattoo underage kids. Um, I learned about that later, but
The latest sponsor of this podcast.
yeah,
Visit
but
happytattoo.18areyoucool.com.
yeah, but yeah, I begged my mom to take me to
Wow.
get the belly button ring. I don't remember how much resistance I did or didn't come up against. Obviously not very much because I ended up getting it, but like I don't think she loved the idea at first, but then she ended up taking me a Studio City tattoo. And I remember the person who pierced my belly button was this guy, a white man with very, very long white guy dreads, who
Of
the reason I
course.
remember him so vividly, first of all, when you're 14 and you walk into a tattoo shop, you do have a moment where you're like, I'm in over my head, you know? Um, I've gone to it's probably like the
Sure.
feeling that I would feel now if I like walked into like a gun store or something. I'd be like, I'm not I'm probably not where I'm supposed to be right now. But which, you know, in retrospect, after being in many tattoo shops, Studio City Tattoo is a great one. But or at least it was. I don't know. I've been for a long while, long time. But anyways, I got the belly button ring, like cuter than could be. I wanted
Mhm.
to show it off constantly. Any excuse I could have, like, you know, I wasn't wearing crop tops because you can't wear those to high school because, you know, the
Of
boys
course.
can't bait the
They
boys.
can't control themselves. It's our
Right.
responsibility, absolutely.
100%. But like, I did wear shirts that, like, if I raised my hand or like if I'm gonna like if I'm standing up and I find a reason to like perhaps pick an apple off of a tree. I don't know what I was doing, but
Mhm.
you'd see it for sure. But yeah, that man with that I'm trashy because I had that belly button. I was 14 years old
Yeah.
and I had it. I had it until I was like maybe mid to early 20s when I finally took it out because it was kind of like, why is this still here?
Right.
The scar will never leave ever. So I will always have like a remnant of
God.
that time. I mean, that I
Yeah.
practically did get a tattoo that day. But that guy who did it, he ended up being in a band
Oh,
that would
no.
play
Oh, no.
like at the same shows as other bands of like, oh, did you know that like Marie's brother is in a band? And so and all the guys from like the choir, but they're all in a band and they're playing with this other band that's like huge. And then I want to say that that guy who pierced my belly button, he either went to go play with Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit on
Okay.
tour,
Okay.
or he replaced Wes Borland in Limp Bizkit. I don't know which one it was, but I was like, I just always felt like this strange,
Connection?
like LA doesn't have to feel big. LA can
No.
be a small city. Like, you know, the cute guy from the video store down the street that is now a Panda Express, he went on to date my friend suspiciously close to high school. You know, like
Yeah.
these these people, I think when the stakes are so low because you're just a teenager, you just memorize faces and all of a sudden the world revolves around you. You go, oh yes, I
Yeah.
know that guy. The guy who's on stage right now playing with my friend's band, who actually is going to go and tour with Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit. He pierced my belly button when I was 14.
It's a weird thing when you see people so frequently that you start to think you're friends. Like, I've
Mm-hmm.
done that when I first moved out here. I did that to, like, a couple actors,
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
but just not in a, like, a fame cloudy way of just like, "Oh, it's like that person that I know," because I didn't know anyone. So seeing something familiar, my brain was like, "Pattern, you know them. They must be your friend."
When you start going to comedy theaters
Oh,
a
God.
lot too, like, and then you see those people on TV, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I know them, and it's like
Yeah. All of my
you.
friends have just been, people that I've just seen frequently enough where I'm like,
Mhm.
"We're friends now." You know?
Yeah,
All of my comedy friends are just like, I don't ever think we introduced each other, we just became
100%.
friends, and then one day we were, traveling the world together.
I will say I won't name the comedian, but I went to this person's show a lot and they've gone on to be quite famous. I mean,
Mhm.
people would know who they were if I said.
Mhm.
And I remember running into them and they did know who I was. They
Yeah.
didn't know me by name,
Right.
but they knew my face.
Isn't that wild?
And I'm like, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's not just me. I'm still not going to engage in a conversation because at this
No.
point I don't care, but like,
Yeah.
good.
And that person was Mel Brooks.
Yep, exactly. No, that person was,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's a
yeah,
great one.
yeah.
All right. All right.
He's
Let's
people know him.
yeah.
Well, they know his characters at the very least.
Yeah. All right, Cass, we're going to take a quick break and then get into this week's stories. Our first story comes to us from usatoday.com by Baby Trash Can Adam Cantley. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Adam. Looking forward to you becoming a patron soon.
Whoa, put him on the spot.
They got it. They got it.
Oh, okay.
No, I know. I talked to him about it privately. Offline, guys. That's called offline, okay?
A saleswoman through and through.
I'm never not hustling, you know? I was
Sure.
listening to a podcast that's kind of about intuition and archetypes and things like this. And they were talking about like the trickster energy.
Yep.
And if you embrace it, those people typically go on to be very good salespeople, lawyers, agents, things where when you embrace it and understand that that is a part of you, how to utilize it for the positive. But if you don't, and you kind of don't identify that that's a part of you, it becomes the trickster energy, So kind of the like, oh, I didn't know, things just
Manipulative.
happen. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the manipulation versus like where it's like if you recognize it and you identify it, how you can use it for good, but you have to acknowledge that that's a part of you. And
Hmm.
I'm very aware that that's a part of me. I'm never not hustling for an angle, but I'm very transparent about the fact that I am doing. You know what I mean? I'm
You could be a lawyer.
I mean, I do know pirate law, but one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this story.
You've passed the barg. Certainly, I've made that joke before, right? I don't know. If not, it was a good one. All right. So,
All right.
parents are hiring concierge moms to help their kids at college. So, imagine that you live in Los Angeles, but you send your child off to college in New York. 2 weeks into their first semester, they get sick. Well, lucky for you, you have a concierge mom on speed dial.
Mindy Howards created such a service in 2019 called Mindy Knows.
Horwitz?
Horowitz?
You said Howards? I think it's Horwitz. Who's to
Hmm.
say?
Honestly,
We could never know.
who's to say? I don't know. I've only seen Mindy's name written down. So
You're right.
parents pay someone local for their college student to help with when they can't. So birthday, health scares, you name it. Families can hire one of these moms for hire for students at Penn State, Northwestern, Washington University, St. Louis, and more. Should I start this concierge service? I honestly feel like I'd be really great at this at
I think
USC
that
or
you would
UCLA.
be I think you'd be good too. I was thinking that when I was reading this, I was like, Erica would be a great person for this because you love to help and you'll stop at nothing to help. But there is,
To the point where people have to say, please stop helping.
yeah,
Man, we
we'll
fired you 6 months ago. Please stop showing up to our child's dorm with
we'll get
soup.
in we'll get into that later. There the like I can see the sentiment behind this, but I'm maybe a little bit more on the side of there's a psychologist who weighed in on this in the article
Mhm.
saying that this kind of loving gesture can actually end up being a setback and interfering with a young adult's development,
Yeah, sure.
which that makes more sense. Like you get sent off to college and you get sick and you need to go to urgent care. These are skills that you should know how to do without a parent.
I agree, but I do feel like it would be nice. I luckily had family 2 hours away. I had family in my college town. I never really had to lean on them, but it was nice to have that there. But I can understand how going far away, not having anyone, like, yes, you should absolutely develop those skills. I 100% agree, and I'm all for independence, but just having somebody, like, if you're sick, just having someone drop off soup I can imagine that's just above and beyond.
I just wonder who this is for. Like, is it for
Oh, kids that have been helicopter parented their whole life?
oh, no, I know who it's for in that sense. I'm saying, like, the person who's making this decision to hire them, is it them is it because they think or, like, their kids are, like, needing it? Or is it
Mhm.
because it's making them feel less guilty
I think it's the parents
about yeah,
more.
like, I feel like this is
Mhm.
for the parents more than anything else. So, the services are wide-ranging. Most of the requests come from the parents, but it's $49 a month for service,
Mhm.
$250 for a semester or $450 for a year, and $1,600 for all 4 years of school. So it's really not that expensive. It's cheaper than, daycare. But
True.
the quote mom might do everything from recommending a local doctor to finding a wheelchair for rent to visiting grandparents coming to town and finding a wheelchair for rent for visiting grandparents who are coming to town.
Yeah.
That's confusing. But this is what they won't do. They won't wash your clothes. They're not going to iron your sheets. They're not going to cook you dinner. You know, just
Yeah.
they're not going to do I don't know. They're not going to baby you. They're just
But
going to
for my service,
oh sure.
I will for more money a month.
Yeah, you better charge more then.
Yeah. I mean, it really is kind of like helping them. I don't know. I feel like there's like certain basic skills that you have to gain confidence in, but like there's things that are kind of above and beyond that would be a nice help. I you know, I like that a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna look into doing this myself, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be nice. I luckily had family 2 hours away. I had family in my college town. It was nice to have that there. But I can understand how going far away, not having anyone, like, yes, you should absolutely develop those skills. I 100% agree, and I'm all for independence, but just having somebody like, if you're sick, just having someone drop off soup, I can imagine that's just above and beyond.
I just wonder who this is for. Like, is it for
Oh, kids that have been helicopter parented their whole life?
oh, no, I know who it's for in that sense. I'm saying, like, the person who's making this decision to hire them, is it because they think or, like, their kids are, like, needing it? Or is it
Mhm.
because it's making them feel less guilty
I think it's the parents
about yeah,
more.
like, I feel like this
Mhm.
is for the parents more than anything else. So, the services are wide-ranging. Most of the requests come from the parents, but it's $49 a month for service,
Mhm.
$250 for a semester or $450 for a year, and $1,600 for all 4 years of school. So it's really not that expensive. It's cheaper than, daycare. But
True.
the quote mom might do everything from recommending a local doctor to finding a wheelchair for rent to visiting grandparents coming to town and finding a wheelchair for rent for visiting grandparents who are coming to town.
Yeah.
But this is what they won't do. They won't wash your clothes. They're not going to iron your sheets. They're not going to cook you dinner. You know, just
Yeah.
they're not going to do I don't know. They're not going to baby you. They're just
But
going to
for my service,
oh sure.
I will for more money a month.
Yeah, you better charge more then.
I mean, it really is kind of like helping them. I don't know. I feel like there's like certain basic skills that you have to gain confidence in, but like there's things that are kind of above and beyond that would be a nice help. I you know, I like that a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna look into doing this myself, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it could be a cash cow for needy parents or
Yeah.
for needy Erica. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The parents are the cash cow. Yeah, honestly, I love this. I've been speaking to some college students recently, not by choice, but
Sure.
I'm just like, oh, I remember what it was like to be that age and know nothing but feel I knew everything.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I just have to remember that state of mind. And now we get
But
along.
see, I feel like that state of mind where you know nothing, but you feel like you know everything, the only way that you're gonna learn how little you truly know and actually learn the things that you need to know is by failure. And
Agreed. No, agreed. Yeah, you got to fall down. But man, is it helpful?
Sure. Well,
In fact,
speaking of, I don't actually have a transition for this.
no, this is for that next stage of life when you're getting married from uk.news.yahoo.com. Bride spends 13,000 pounds on 13-foot wedding cake with 50 kilograms of icing.
So pounds to dollars, let's call it like $15,000.
Yeah. So she was
Wow.
18. She spent this money on a huge castle cake. It was
It's
created
best
by
not to get married when you're 18. Can I just put that out there?
absolutely. The bride was left speechless after she saw the $15,000 wedding cake. It was 13 foot high, 6 foot wide, had a lot of fondant icing.
15
She,
kilograms of fondant icing, which 50
oh, 50
kilograms
kilograms. Yeah.
pounds is 110 pounds of icing.
Honestly, as an icing bitch, I would love this, but not fondant. Fondant's nasty. She
No.
married her childhood sweetheart, 20.
Of course. Who else are you going to marry when you're 18? If not, you're either your childhood sweetheart or a super old adult that you've been
Yeah.
sold to.
Yeah. They married at the Savoy on the Strand in London. The ballroom reception cost £50,000 on January 12th. Jesus. The cake maker, whose name is Gray Thurrock,
Mm,
Essex, of Essex, of course, right? The cake artist was Sam Woodruff from Gary Thurrock, Essex, the company named Gary Thurrock, Essex. He used an 8-inch round cakes at the base of the structure and a petal design, and the rest was made from polyestyrene. He used 3D printing to stack the structure, fit it with windows, LED balloons to make the cake glow.
wow.
That is insane. The cake is, you have to see the image. Here's what I love is that people are talking about the bride. Madeline is an old romantic and she loves everything Renaissance and nostalgic and loves rich colors. Everything Renaissance would mean everyone at your wedding smells like shit because they have not paid. And
Everything
half of you have the
Renaissance.
plague.
Everything Renaissance. She's almost a little bit old to be getting married.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Well, she's about 2 years older than the average wedding. They married about 15, 16 back then.
Yeah.
But since the pandemic, that weddings have increased over 20% since 2020. The average cost of UK wedding in 2023 was £20,000. It's a 12% increase on 2022, where the average wedding cost 18,000, and almost 20% more than 2021, where the average UK wedding cost was 17,000. It's too much. The
Weddings are
price
expensive.
jumped though after 2020 from 9,000 average to 17,000. So
Well, of
it's
course it did because
yeah.
everybody there was a back supply and demand, baby. Supply and demand. That's basic economics. That's basic
Chaos the capitalist telling me about supply economics.
hey, speaking of capitalism, from theguardian.com, we're going to talk about the new Major League Baseball's controversial pants that have been I don't even think you have to like pay attention to baseball to know that the MLB players not thrilled with their new pants because everyone is pointing out that they are pretty see-through.
This is sent in by Tina Curry. Thank you.
Thanks,
Not yet a
Tina.
patron, Tina Curry. The sorry, I'll stop doing that. The MLB Association, their executive deputy director, Bruce Meyer, confirmed on Thursday that the organization is relaying concerns from the players about the new pants. They are being first reported on by ESPN. They are part of a broader scorn for the new uniforms designed by Nike and manufactured by Fanatics. One of the shortstop, Trey Turner, from the Phillies, said, "I know everyone hates them. We all liked what we had. We understand business. I think everyone would keep it the same way for the most part, with some tweaks here or there. The new uniforms provide 25% more stretch and will dry 28% faster, but they are see-through as hell.
So
Eh, eh, the photo that I see,
yeah, I made sure to copy and paste the best one.
it it
I don't even think we can post this on Instagram.
No, we'll get flagged. This looks
Yeah.
like if oh my god, what Drag Race contestants am I thinking of? Stretchy, Long, Winner, season 10?
Evie Oddly.
Evie Oddly. This looks like Evie Oddly.
The images of a player from the San Diego Padres stretching by touching his toes, but the image is from the back, and so you see, like, all dat ass,
Kit
the
and Caboodles.
kit and caboodle right between the legs, you know, thick thighs, no lies kinda shit. And I found another article about this just 'cause I like baseball, and they talk about
Mhm.
how this is a shrinkflation kind of on a massive scale. You know, like everyone is feeling this greedflation, let's say,
Yeah,
like, oh, the prices are getting higher, but the quantities and things are getting smaller.
it's
So,
because of private equity. We'll get into that another day, but
yeah, I mean, like, look, everyone, we're all getting hosed. So, there's an unnamed Orioles player told or said that the new stuff felt like a knockoff jersey from TJ Maxx. A Royals player successfully lobbied to keep the spirit of their old uniforms, aka wear them. A Padres player mentioned that they're hoping that no one notices that they're just going to use last year's pants.
TJ Maxx fired back. Oh, just kidding.
Did
I
they?
wish. No, I wish.
They
I
don't
wish
have a leg to
TJ
stand
Maxx
on.
was like, "Come on down to TJ Maxx, here's a coupon." Yeah, I wish. The great
So
opportunity for them socially.
for the last century, basically, MLB uniforms have been made by a company called Majestic. But in 2017, that company Majestic was bought by Fanatics, and Fanatics is kind of like Amazon for sports gear, and like it's super cheap shit, you know, like. And
Yep.
look, sports memorabilia is expensive, so there is definitely like a place for it's dicey. Like, do you want to contribute to fast fashion? No. But like, do you also want to give like this gazillion dollar beast of like an Major League Baseball or NFL or whatever, like $70 for a t-shirt? Also no. You know, so like how do you represent? If you want my personal tip, because I started doing this, like as you know, there was a labor strike last year that hit me on my family very hard.
Yep.
What we started doing is we would get like $2 or $3 shirts from like Michaels and a tie-dye kit, which is about $8. And we would just tie-dye our own shirts, the colors of the team we liked. And so each shirt was about $5 a piece, custom merch. So just that the hot tip if you want to. Anyways, point is,
Yeah.
Fanatics is cheap fast fashion, and they are now making the jerseys and
So
the
last
play.
September, an Eagles fan said that he paid $80 for a pair of Kelly Green t-shirts with Jalen Hurts' number and name misaligned. Another Eagles fan said that he bought a windbreaker that had his team logo entirely off, that left the logo off. And basically, they're like, what the fuck, Fanatics? So they paused shipments of their Eagles gear to conduct a quality control assessment. One wrong number or an unhappy fan is too many, a company spokesperson said in a statement. We take every complaint very seriously, which means, she just yapping. They're just yapping. We don't
Yeah,
care.
we care. We promise. Yeah, I mean, it's fast fashion. It's not like
Yeah.
we don't need Shein quality on our baseball players like
Yeah.
Otahani on the Dodgers, who gets paid $700 million as his contract, and you put him in like see-through pants.
For
Although, hey,
this week's
I guess we get
Maxi
to see
Challenge, you are to make an MLB uniform, Queens. We've
truly.
provided 80 yards of cellophane. Your models this week, you'll have to make matching companion pieces for you and your baseball player. So let the games begin, Queens. Like, this is what it's
The
giving.
sister
It's Maxi
challenge. Yeah.
Challenge.
speaking of challenges, we have an update story on the Florida games. I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about how they were about to host an event called the Florida Games. It
Florida Man
happened.
Games. Florida
The
Man
Florida
Games.
Man Games, excuse me, Florida Man Games. It happened.
Oh man, it happened. So at the Florida Man Games, this is from KTLA.com. Big crowds cheer on competitors evading police and wrestling over beer. God, next year. We gotta go next year.
Yeah, I mean it's going to take a lot to get me to go to Florida, but this might be what it is. The games kicked off on Saturday with the Star Spangled Banner played on an electric guitar, spectators sipping canned beers behind metal barricades and cheering, just shouting, just spitting and cussing
Out by the fence.
out by the fence. And so the first event was won by this guy named James Gordon, and it was like the fastest to eat barbecue pork and sausage, a whole plate of it, and
Which
then
I didn't know
chugged a
that was a
beer.
competition because I've been competing my whole life.
Well, Gordon had something similar to say. He said, I've lived in Florida my whole life. He said after washing sauce from his hands and beard. They're calling these events. I'm calling this a fucking Tuesday afternoon.
Perfect quote.
Yep. Yep. If only more like actual like professional athlete. Imagine the Paris Olympics and someone gets out of the River Seine because they just won this swimming competition and they go, "How do you feel?" And he says, they're calling these events. I'm calling this a fucking Tuesday afternoon, just
God.
swimming in the river."
Oh, God, I wish. The security for the Paris events has been slightly compromised because somebody left some of the police plans on a tube station. And so they have been compromised and might have to be completely revoked.
Oops.
Did you hear about that?
I didn't.
You ever been that bad at your job? All right, back to the Florida Man jobs. So, one event had contenders dueling in muddy water in inflatable pool, pummeling each other with weapons made from pool noodles and duct tape.
That
There
sounds like
was a
kind of painful.
I know, I'm like, ouch. There was a theft simulation relay in which competitors raced with toting pairs of bicycles, copper pipes, and catalytic converters.
So that is so funny to me, like just admitting that catalytic converters just get stolen. This person said that they trained for this relay race by riding a bicycle around his neighborhood with a second bike strapped to his back. And it paid off on Saturday because he won his heat after picking up a bike in each hand and running with them. And his quote, another great quote, "I have an absolute disregard for self-preservation. I will do anything. When I was in the military, I did a little alligator wrestling."
Perfect.
If that's not like a quote for a trashy podcast, I have absolute disregard for self-preservation. I will do anything. I mean, that should go on both of our headstones, you know?
No joke. But also, I did a little alligator wrestling.
Yeah, when I was in the military, I did a little alligator wrestling. They're like, "Where were you stationed?" "Iraq." "Are there alligators in Iraq?" "Are there alligators in Florida sometimes?"
I had to bring one in myself.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I remember growing up in Colorado and they'd be like, "Oh, by the way, like everyone be careful, there's an alligator in Washington Park." And it's always like, this is not a native, there are native alligators in the South, but like there's always just someone who goes to another place and brings a fucking alligator with them. And it always escapes because it's an
Always.
alligator. Always. They're always getting loose.
This gentleman with the "I have an absolute disregard for self-preservation. I will do anything" was the captain of a 5-man team called Hanky Spanky. No
I love it.
notes.
There was other events that had people wrestling sumo style while holding pitchers of beer, running from actual sheriff deputies while jumping fences and avoiding obstacles. And then some people faced a scramble to grab cash, flying in simulated hurricane winds. And people paid $45 per ticket or more to watch this. I mean,
Okay.
that's a deal.
Okay, so they're running from actual sheriff's deputies. Have you seen the Okay, the Nathan Fielder show, The Rookie. Have you seen the cop cutie thing?
No.
Okay, so like last season, The Rookie and another guy are and his partner are, stopping somebody on the street, and this garage band, this band inside of a garage, starts playing this song that's called Cop Cuties. And it's like, is that a baton in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? She puts the short and shorty and looks like she wants to chase me. Cop cuties, cute and on duty. It's like arrest me but make it sexy. It's really funny. And so Nathan Fielder starts to walk up to the garage to like confront them, and then they just slowly lower the garage. Cop cutie plays out, right? It's just a throwaway. Like it's nothing, right? And I guess this season, like the beginning of this season, same neighborhood. They go to pull somebody over for running a red light, whatever. And the Cop Cuties band is back and they start playing this song again. And then there's a whole church choir of ladies singing Cop Cuties, cute and on duty, but like gospel. They're, it's like it's like with his daddy cop walk and his daddy cop arms and his daddy cop butt. It's really funny. And they just play it, and then it's
He's the
just
king
like
of a callback.
it's just
That
a
Nathan Fielder.
callback, and it's like, I guess this band actually had a song called Cop Cuties, but it was all over the internet last week, and I pulled into a Walgreens to get some ice cream for Mr. Winston Carter, and these cops just pulled up into a fire lane just to walk inside and like buy snacks. Like they weren't doing anything, but they were on duty. And it was a Sunday, and again, I have no self-preservation instincts, as they say, and I was listening to that song already in my earbuds. Because it's like an earworm now. And it was everything in me not to just like start blasting Cop Cuties, because it was a man and a female cop. I was like, do I want to get tased at a Rite Aid today? Probably not. But wouldn't this be funny? It was everything to not just start playing Cop Cuties to them. Watch the video. It's like, it's darling.
It's a good question to ask yourself anytime you find yourself in a Rite Aid. Do I want to get tased today?
Yeah, the answer is probably no. But
yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break for the regular feed. You're going to hear some ads that support the podcast. Meanwhile, our Patreon members are going to get a couple of exclusive stories.
Ugh, not another ad.
Sorry, Cass, but Mama's got to pay the bills.
Surely there's another way.
Oh, there is. You can subscribe to the Trashy Trashy Podcast Patreon.
That's ad-free episodes?
And longer episodes.
So much trash.
And even sometimes we release bonus behind the paywall only content.
Exclusive trash.
Sign up for memberships as low as $1.99 per month at patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast.
So patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast. Oh, that's fun. There's different tiers. Wait, what is this $200,000 a month?
Oh, at that level, we'll stop doing a public podcast and do a private podcast for you daily for one very rich, very cool listener. That's patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast and sign up today.
To a smooth transition, hello, welcome back from the ads, into a little game I'd like to play, if you'll indulge me.
Sure.
So I've been seeing people do this. We all know red flags, people's red flags. But there's other types of flags. There's green flags, which is like, hey, this is a great thing about you.
Yeah.
And there's beige flags, which are kind of like, that's a thing you do. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just kind of like, like caution. Where would you describe as a beige flag? Like,
honestly, I'm unfamiliar. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I would say it's more just like, okay.
Like it's not a red flag. It's just like one of the examples I saw was someone said that their friend's beige flag was like that he collected those little pop toys.
Oh, see, and that's a red flag for me.
Totally. Yeah. So like
but everyone's different.
A beige flag could be a red flag for some and a green flag for others. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of on the fence. All right. So I thought it would be nice, or not nice, we'll see how it goes, to go over each other's. I'm going to tell you what I think your green, beige, and red flags are, and you can tell me what you think my green, beige, and red flags are.
Oh, I misunderstood the game. Okay.
Did you do your own flags?
Yeah.
You can't do your, because see a person with too many red. Your red flag is that
Yeah.
you think that you could have done your own flags. I had a different red flag for you,
Sorry, I
but I just want you to know
misunderstood
that
the
that was a red
assignment.
flag. That was a red
All right, I
flag.
gotta think of it. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
I'll get it. Okay.
I'll tell
I'll
you
get it.
what I think your green flag is while
Okay.
you think of a green flag for
Uh-huh.
me. I think a green flag for you, Erica Curry, one of my best friends on the planet. Everybody fucking loves you. Like everyone loves you when you're around. You know, like I could bring you to a party. I wouldn't have to see you for the rest of the night. I know you'd be just fine, and that everyone would be talking to me later about, oh my God, that person you brought to the party, Erica, loved her.
Wow.
That's a green flag.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
they never have to worry about you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay. So
I mean, if you want to say what your green flag for yourself is, we could just make this
No.
whole thing about you.
No, we can't.
Are
Okay.
you embarrassed now?
Yes. Okay.
You're like, my green flag is that I always have.
My green flag. Okay. I hear it now. I hear why this would have been wrong. Okay. Sorry.
It says Erica and Cassandra name each other's.
I think I missed others because it's on a different line.
Oh, my bad. I forgot that you don't have reading comprehension.
At all. Okay. I think your green flag is that your sense of hospitality and just taking care of people and just like if you as a host, as someone that has people over, I never have to be like, are they gonna have toothpicks or gonna have that? Like you instinctively have a way of taking care of people that is so, so lovely and just like not just like hosting like a, oh, people are over and everyone has, a sandwich, they're happy, but just being like, oh, this one's gluten free and this one's this because of that person. And here's this thing of you want to take care of people in like people that you care about. You know what I mean? Like you're not
Wow.
feeding the world, you are making everyone in your home and just your home could be Dodger Stadium, your home could be anywhere, but like the people around you are going to be comfortable because you care about their comfort. And that has
That's
always stood out to
nice.
me. Like you are such a great host and producer in that way.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. I
Mhm.
like hosting.
Yeah, and you're great at it.
Thank you. All right. Your beige flag. We talked about this a little bit earlier with you talking about how you do this concierge service. You will do anything for anyone.
Yeah.
And well, don't say it like that. It's a nice quality sometimes, But the thing is of like, oh, like Erica, you can't keep giving the shirts off your back to all these people. You have no more shirts left,
Yeah. Mhm.
That's where it gets into beige territory. So it's like it's an endearing and good quality,
Yeah.
and there's not enough of it in the world.
Yeah.
So thank God you have it. But also,
Yeah, I
it's a
gotta work
beige
on.
flag because sometimes it's like, all right, girl, you
Yeah.
can't help everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Cassandra, your beige flag
I'll fucking kill you.
is you have none. No. Okay. Your beige flag is like the things that you know about, you know a lot about, and the things that you are just not maybe on the periph of, you're like, what is that? Does that, so as an internet person myself, sometimes and again, the things you know about, you know so much about. But if it's not like it hasn't come across your radar, you're like your zone of
It
interest
doesn't
are more
exist.
narrow. Yeah.
That's fair.
But
That's
you
very
also
fair.
care about important things versus like me caring about like, the twink whose carry-on luggage was too heavy and he got into a flight attendant and then he stalked her home. Like my niche interests are too much.
I feel like this is just because you're mad that I won't watch Housewives or Vanderpump Rules. It's
No,
'cause
no.
and you're like, "Oh, this is a beige flag because because you don't know about it and you don't watch it doesn't mean you don't wanna acknowledge it."
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair. You're
Yeah.
right. I do I don't like to say that I have much in common with, like, people like baby boomers and stuff, but in that sense, I do.
Yeah.
I do share that quality of, like, "Bah, I don't have time to learn about the things that I don't know."
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, your red flag
Uh-huh.
is kind of similar because when you like things, you like them to the max,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
endearing, but also if it could be very dangerous when it's the wrong thing. So I think that's what makes it a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is like when you like the story about the twink whose carry-on luggage was too heavy and then he stalked the person. It's kind of like, all right, well that's fine. That's nice, you know?
Yeah.
But like what if you like really got into like Oxycontin, you know?
Girl, a thing I think about every day. It's like,
That's
I can't start that because what if I
yeah.
like it? Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that you have addictive personality. I'm not saying that.
No, I mean, I do have more addictive tendencies. I have obsessive tendencies, which can lead towards addiction and
You
yeah.
say obsessive, I say passion.
Yes,
You know,
passion.
you have passion and it just when used for good, great. But when used for evil, too powerful, too
Mhm,
strong. Red flag. You never
mhm,
know. I haven't
mhm.
seen you use it for evil yet, but you know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You could.
I
And
can
you could be
whoa.
very it's like how we've talked about like you would be able to make a cult happen. And
Yeah.
like someone who's if you put it that way, I'm like, oh, they could be a cult leader. That would be like a red flag.
Honestly, maybe if I start this college concierge job, niche, I could get college students to join the cult.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. You're too
Yeah.
smart for your own good.
That's actually a really good idea. Thank you so much. This is
Oh
actually
no.
a really good
Like
idea.
that's a green flag.
Green green lighting it right now.
All right, what's my red flag?
Oh, God.
I do want to know what your red flag for yourself is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, can I tell you what my green flag is?
Yeah.
I'm I feel like I'm really good at ordering for the table.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
you got a good idea about that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I rarely get to exercise that, but in my head sometimes I play like fantasy ordering for the table,
Yeah.
and then I see what other people order and I'm like, "Oh, they would have been so happy with my choice." Which is a lunacy thing. Patreon only exclusive. I was recently at a work event.
That's another green flag of yours though. Aware of your surroundings.
Oh, anyway, back to the regular feed. Okay, your red flag.
What's
Okay.
extra fucked up about this is that you since you didn't write these beforehand, you're
Yeah.
coming up with probably my truly biggest red flag because you have to or maybe my second biggest because whatever came to your mind first, you're like, I can't say that to her.
Yeah. I find that and again, I'm too patient of a person sometimes, but I find
Oh, yeah. I know where this is going.
I find your courtesy and love is to cut the bullshit, which is again, loving things and beautiful things, but can lead to feeling slightly impatient at time. But it's because you care so much about those around you that you're like, let's get this moving. I've taken care of, but your patience is smaller, which is a
That's
kind of a good thing.
that is a very nice way of telling someone that they're impatient. I am. Man, maybe I have more to with baby boomers than I thought. I find my time precious, and
And it is. It is.
as soon as I got that in my head, I don't know, I probably read it on a fucking Pinterest quote. Your time is precious. Whatever. Once that sentence entered my vernacular, I think I became a little bit of an asshole.
No.
Just a touch
Yeah.
because and also like then you just get into horoscopes like, oh, Aries are impatient. I'm like, yes, thank you
Yes.
for justifying this behavior further.
Perfect.
Impatient, and I'll say another red flag of mine that started after the pandemic, always late. So
Oh,
not only
yeah.
not
Yeah.
only am I impatient when I get somewhere, I'm late. So yeah, that's a good one. That's fair. That is a fair assumption of me.
You know what's not fair is that the fact that we're gonna have to cut these next stories. There's just too much juice, not enough juice, or we just don't have time to get into it. So this is a little
Sure.
segment we call We Cut That.
And we cut that.
From apnews.com. Caught at the border with pythons in his pants, New York City man fined and sentenced to probation.
Is that a python in your
His
pants or are
pants are you
you
just happy
happy
to
to see
see?
me? That's I want to know. Like, did he have like actual like a python in his pants, or did this guy have such a big dick that they had to fine him and sentence him?
if Evie Oddly's out here in this world not
Yeah.
getting fined, this man's fine.
Sure. We're gonna have to do you know why I stopped you today? Because that fang is too big.
We'll pull over that ass too fat. I've always wanted
Is
a
your
police
penis
officer to
gonna
say that.
need is your penis gonna need a public defender?
Yeah, we're gonna have to breathalyze your penis.
Wow.
From Yahoo. Again, we cut it. We can't get into it. We can't. We've covered
It's
it.
too funny.
You know?
It's too funny.
From Yahoo.com. Royal Caribbean cruise employee arrested after hidden camera found in guest bathroom on Symphony of the Seas. What do you want to see up there? What? That's a word. That's a terrible angle. Ugh, we just let
Anyways.
boys be boys for too long. All right, back to the main.
Back to the main feed. That's we cut that because of what I had to talk about in the Patreon. The next one comes from reddit.com, and it's just an image of a receipt from a restaurant. So this person was $128.89 was their total for their meal. They tipped $1,000, so the total is of course $1,128.89. And he left a little note saying, "Beautiful nipples, princess. Call me." And signed, the master.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, for $1,000, you can say whatever you want about my nipples.
Yeah,
especially
honestly,
if you're gonna call me princess at the end of it.
I mean, I wish they just hadn't blocked out the phone numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
$1,000 is $1,000.
If to just have some guy kind of like, beautiful
Likely
nipples, beautiful
sexually
nipples,
harass you.
princess.
Oh, thank you. You didn't have to see him.
I've been more sexually harassed for less. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good deal.
This is why we're trash.
Yeah. And why we had to cut that.
Yeah, we can't get
In
into
theory.
that. All right, Cass. Here's a little ad for the Patreon for those of you who want longer stories, those exclusive stories, and ad-free episodes.
And all the darkness in between.
But hey, Cass, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready, girl.
It's time for the dumpster fire of the week.
Oh my God. From NPR.org. You texted me this morning and used a term called honeypot. And I'd never heard it before, as we were talking about my beige flag. And so I thought, is she calling me honeypot? Or is there something about honeypot that I should know, and that's a bigger story than this? And I Googled it, and there's a company called Honeypot that sells feminine products. But then when you explained what honeypot was, it feels like they shouldn't have named their company that.
Yeah, it's honey trapping or honey pot, and basically it's a way to use sexual intrigue to get what you want. It's, using romantic or sexual relationships and interpersonal, political, state espionage, or monetary purposes. A honeypot or trap involves making contact with an individual who has information or resources required by a group or individual. The trapper will seek to entice the target into a false relationship, which may or may not include an actual physical involvement, which they can glean information and influence over the target. Baby, I've been honeypotting Winston Carter forever. He's actually a spy for the Uzbekistan.
Well,
not true, but that is something that has been used in spyware forever. There were actually resistance fighters that would honeypot Nazis. Like, these teenage girls would be like, "You want to go make out in the woods?" And then Nazis would be like, "Yeah." And then they would kill them.
Love it.
Teenage girls in World War II that would just be like, "You were gonna do some kissing over there," and they would just kill Nazis. And I'm like, "Where's that movie?"
I love it. Where is that movie? So there's this story specifically is about an Air Force employee who's accused of allegedly sharing classified info on a dating website. This is a 63-year-old civilian employee of the U.S. Air Force, and he's been arrested for disclosing secret national defense information related to Russia's war with Ukraine.
Check in on your elders. If they have a Facebook relationship, if they have a new boyfriend, if they think Kenny Chesney is their Facebook boyfriend and needs $10,000 to finish his tour,
Yeah.
check in on your relatives.
So this guy, in a news release posted on Monday, the Justice Department said that this man who lives in Nebraska, he was sharing this stuff on a foreign online dating platform,
Oh, God.
which that's a little like already a little sus that he
A
was
little
like,
mail ordery.
we're not on Plenty of Fish, you know, we're on
Mhm.
or OkCupid, we're on
Yeah.
some foreign site. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was on purpose. I'm just saying that doesn't look good in court.
No, I think it means like, hey, this guy
Looking to
heard.
wife for purchase.
Yeah.
So it started in early 2022, and he started communicating with a female who was claiming to be in Ukraine, and right around the time when Russia invaded Ukraine, and they were chatting a bunch to a point where she even would call him her secret information love and her secret agent and things like. This went on for a little while, it sounds like.
He would regularly, the person, the unidentified alleged co-conspirator, who was most likely, you know, a
Some
man, a
guy.
government employee.
Yeah. some Russian guy.
Oh, God. Would regularly ask Slater to provide her with sensitive, non-public, closely held information. This is a red flag.
And this guy, yeah, exactly. This guy was like, he attended top classified briefings related to this war. And then, like, you know, like everybody's been in a conversation of hot goss, thinking to themselves, ooh, I cannot wait to tell my partner about this.
Yep.
You know? And that's what this guy, he was in briefings about the Russian-Ukraine war being like, oh, I can't wait to tell my Ukrainian girlfriend on the internet all this shit.
Oh, check in. Check in on your elders, on your people. Like, if I meet you in person, I feel like it's different, but I genuinely do not know what it's like. And I'm trying to have empathy, but I just cannot fathom what it is to have not met someone in person and giving them information. You know, again, I'm not trying to shame him for that side of it, but I'm like, in True Detective Night Country, the latest iteration of True Detective, one of the characters has an online girlfriend that's going to come visit for Christmas, and he's been sending her money for her sick mother. And guess what? She don't get off the plane because she was never real. You know, it's like they haven't video timed.
FaceTime?
You know what I mean? Like, come
Yeah, there's a
on.
whole story that John Oliver recently did called about pig butchering, which is a specific type of scam, and it's very frequently done in this honeypot kind of way where, you know, like on dating websites and things like that, and people like with the promise of love and connection are getting scammed out of thousands of dollars.
And it starts with just like you mentioning, oh God, my car broke down. Oh, I know you've been working so hard. Let me send you a little bit of money for that. Or they'll borrow a little bit of money and pay it back immediately. Like, here's $125 to get me through Friday. And then here, I paid it back immediately. So of course I'm going to pay back.
Trust. And they also, I mean, yeah, we can't get into it. Go watch it. The pig butchering story on John Oliver. Regardless if you like John Oliver or not, it is very, very interesting and informative. But
yeah,
it's a bummer. Probably maybe need to, you know, monitor our Air Force officials' computers as heavily as they monitor whatever random people that they monitor after the Patriot Act. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Who's to say? I want to know, what are you hoarding?
Okay. Thank you so much for asking. If I ever say thank you for asking on the podcast, it's typically me stalling for time for just a second to find my document.
Okay.
Just a little insider tip for the old listeners.
Sure.
Okay. So I told the story about losing my earbud last year. Couldn't find it.
Yes.
Turns out it was
In your
in my
bonnet.
sleep bonnet.
Uh-huh.
And I've started listening to podcasts at night. And so, putting on a sleep timer, and I wake up in the morning, 2 earbuds asunder. Like, just can't find them, right? Titties
Yeah.
asunder, earbuds asunder.
Nothing where it started the night before.
Nothing. So what I found, and I'm obsessed with now, is I have a Bluetooth eye mask that has speakers over the ears.
Oh, yeah.
So now I both have my eye mask on, and I can put my podcast on sleep timer and just slowly listen to the dulcet tones of Keith Morrison telling me about a woman that was murdered to lull me to sleep. But it's the earbuds are in it, and it's not clunky, and you can lean on it on both sides. It's fantastic. I'm so excited. It's just a Bluetooth eye mask. If you want the link, let me know. But
Noise canceling? Because that sounds nice for a plane.
not noise canceling, but I can put earbuds underneath it. It's a cheapo. I'm
Oh,
gonna be
you
honest.
use your earbuds.
I was using my earbuds that are, but
Oh,
no.
It doesn't come with them.
This has speakers in it that put,
Oh, okay.
so they're not noise canceling, but they are, like, I can put earphones or earplugs in my ears to block out the noise.
Okay.
But it just, oh man, I've been using it a couple times, and I'm like, I know where my earpods are. They're right there.
Mhm.
No chance of them winding up anywhere or on the ground. So I'm really, really excited. And it's an eye mask in itself. I love a darkness. I love a darkness to sleep. So this is perfect. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yep.
Amazon storefront. Trashy.
Yeah. Well, coming soon. What are you hoarding?
Sure. I'm giving some advice.
Okay.
I'm hoarding the concept of this, but I'm giving a little bit of advice.
Okay.
Oh, these winters are long. If you catch a day with a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of rays, my God, go to a park and have a little picnic.
Oh man.
This is instant serotonin. And it doesn't have to be a whole fucking thing. You don't need to go to Trader Joe's and get a bunch of cheese and meat. Wrong. Literally a blanket and a beverage.
Yep.
And just sit outside for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Not like, try not to be on your phone if you can help it. Like, people watch. Maybe set yourself up next to at a park with like a tennis court nearby and eavesdrop on their like whatever you got to do. But
the work that gets done on the tennis courts.
It's been raining so much, and in between rains, there's been like maybe 4 days of like sunshine, and by like day 3, when things start to like dry off, my husband and I are out, even if it's just for 20, 30, 40 minutes, just doing a little bit of a picnic, because we need the serotonin. We need it, the vitamin D. Like, I think I talked to you. You'd mentioned that like you were driving around a lot for work, and that you even just pulled over to like lay in a park for like a second.
I did. I have like vinyl, like they're beach blankets, really. But I mean, in quotations, but they're just vinyl foldable blankets that look like they're a little bag. You can, dust off the dirt, the grass, the sand, whatever you get on it. But man, I just keep a couple of those in my car so that anytime I need to just like lay down in a park, got one of those. I'm never not prepared for that.
We have a blanket in the back of our car, and it's always good to go. It also folds up to be kind of like a bag. But there's something reminiscent about the COVID time from it, of like, meeting in a park and doing that. But I think that COVID time taught us all an important lesson, which is, public parks are here. We can use them.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to be outside. So I'm hoarding, just go outside, have a little picnic. Again, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. If you don't want to commit to the full hour or whatever, however long you want to do it, and see if you could invite a friend or not, whatever you want. They're doing it in Europe, okay? And look at them.
And look how
doing
happy
great.
look how we always are talking about, man, if I could only move to Europe.
Yeah.
Create your own Europe.
Go-
Create your own Europe here. Well, until we move there.
Like, go grab a sandwich from Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
And instead of eating it at Jersey Mike's or eating it in your car,
God.
shame eating it in your car or taking it home, eat it in a park.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna, I mean, pick a safe park, obviously. You know, I don't need to tell you what to do. You know the park. You're all listening to this. You know the park that you could go do this in. Go do it. It's good for you. Go outside.
Sorry.
Erica, what are you throwing out?
Pennies.
Oh, shit. Bye.
Not J.C. Penney. We have evolved away from the penny. A nickel should be our lowest currency.
We've been evolved away from the penny.
Do you know how much money we spend making pennies? More than what a penny cost. We're done. I'm done with pennies. Pennies are gone. Thank you. Thank you for your time. A halfpenny? We hadn't had a halfpenny since the revolution. We're done. Thank you so much for your service. Can't wait to collect you. Abe, we'll put you on the next biggest currency. We're done. A penny is gone.
I can't believe that they're still making them.
He gets 2 current. You already have the 5. Abe, a 1 and a 5er. You're done. Thank you so much. You get 1 as a president. Okay.
I mean, if we're talking about Europe a little bit, like, it is kind of like so tedious that they use like coins, like the way, like the manner in which they use coins.
Sure, but if that's my biggest complaint with them, fine by me. You know.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
Nobody. We as Americans are so removed from change, and the penny. I can't believe that they're still making pennies. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pennies are still a thing. Anyway, I'm done. What are you throwing away?
Girl, I'm throwing away $20 salads. What the fuck? What are you putting in this shit?
Starts off $11 and then somehow with goat cheese and chicken and double hot sauce dressing, maybe an extra crispy rice. Oh, chickpeas, sure, throw those in. Some sweet potatoes, well, of course, and then it's $25.
I'm talking about places that the salads start at 17.
Oh,
and then they're like, would you like to add salmon for $7?
yeah.
And it's like, well, I need to add something because you're charging me $17 for a pile of fucking lettuce and some homemade dressing, allegedly, and some walnuts, you know?
Show me the Nona in the back that's making this dressing. Who do you have?
I was craving a crispy chicken salad yesterday. You know, like fried chicken, crunchy lettuce, some bacon, like hard-boiled, like just, you know, a good crispy chicken salad.
Yeah.
And I was like, who would have this kind of specific salad? And I was like, Bob's Big Boy might have a salad like that, you know?
Sure.
Because it's like an American diner salad type thing. $18.99.
That's outrageous.
And I was like, are you fucking shitting me? Sorry, excuse my language.
Yeah.
But they are not. And then they have another, this is Bob's Big Boy strawberry and goat cheese salad for $21. I was like, what? What do you mean? Where do you have goats in the back? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Why?
Is someone's abuela making this goat cheese right now? Do I see her wringing it down? Yeah.
These are meatless salads too.
That's insane.
Are costing, and it's not just Bob's Big Boy. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Salads. I mean, food in general has gotten too expensive, but like, I can kind of like wrap my head around paying $15 for like a pastrami sandwich or like, I don't like spending that much on a burger, but like sometimes there's a side involved and whatever.
Sure.
There's no fucking sides with salads. You're just getting the salad, and maybe it's a big salad. It's mostly lettuce. It's mostly the thing that's made up of water that costs them maybe $1.99.
I know.
Maybe for the day. Ugh. I can't believe how expensive salads are.
I had a training the other day, and I have a $25 Applebee's gift card that have been ringing around my wallet for 7-8 years, right?
Yeah.
So I have this training. I'm on my way home, and I'm like, oh, there's an Applebee's right off the freeway. You know what? Why not get rid of that gift card today? So I
Sure.
go in and I look at the Applebee's and I'm like, oh no, the only reason you eat at Applebee's is like the Dollaritas or like the crazy late night. You shouldn't eat at an Applebee's. Sorry.
No.
I'm like, as soon as I got through the door, I was like, this was a mistake. You know, it's post lunch, pre happy hour,
Oh yeah.
horrible time to go to anything. And I'm like, well, I got this gift card. So I order
Like,
the,
why is the floor sticky?
yes. I'm like,
You just opened. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'll get this appetizer. It's a little medley, right? It's like 4 apps, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, can I substitute this artichoke dip for the white queso? The white queso is less than the artichoke dip. And she's like, no, we can't make any substitutions. And I'm like, Applebee's, you're drawing the line at substitutions on your, like, this is the line? Ma'am, there's no one in here. There's not another soul in this restaurant. Like, you really? And I understand that, like, I'm not trying to make her job or hurt her. And I'm like, oh, you can't, because the white queso is, I could have like a half portion of the queso. I don't know. You know, I'm just trying to, again, wheel and deal.
Sure.
And she's like, no, we can't. Do you want to add it? And I'm like, well, I got the gift card. It'll cover it. Sure. You know, that was the worst mistake of my life. Like, this
Oh,
is
no.
horrible food.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be like a food snob. It genuinely was, every part of it was bad. I was like, these chips are stale. This dip is bad. The white queso tastes like licking a boot. Only respite I had was like buffalo wings, which are just
Yeah.
chicken tenders covered in buffalo sauce. And I'm like, that's kind of hard to fuck up. It was just like, why did I do this to I instantly regretted doing it to myself. But anyway, I was like,
It's just things are so expensive
yeah.
that you can't. It's getting to be kind of a joke now. Like, and I'm not talking shit on like places that like are nice restaurants who put a lot of care and psychotic energy into their food because of like the type of chefs that run them and blah blah blah. But like when we're talking about Applebee's or Bob's Big Boy or even like an Urbane, Takoya, like these franchise places,
Right.
and you want to come to me and ask me to pay $23 because this salad has quote fresh strawberries and goat cheese and walnuts on it. You're out of your mind. I could make 20 of these salads at home for less.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, I don't know. It's just, and I know you're
Yeah.
not, I know the cost isn't going to your labor.
Nope. Because I'm
If I
still
thought
tipping.
the cost, yeah, if I thought the cost was going to your labor, maybe we could talk about it. You know, I'll pay $60 for a preset menu at Sugarfish because I know you pay your people a lot of money. I'll pay In-N-Out barely raises their prices. You can still get a whole meal at In-N-Out for less than $10 and they pay more than anybody. What's up with that?
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, Cass, where can people
Liars.
find you? Where can they find you?
You can find me sitting at my desk looking at these 2 halves of 2 cookies, trying really hard to save them for my husband and not eat them myself. I'll be here all week. You ever do that when you like have to share food, but like it was good and you don't want to share food? And then you're just like,
Yeah.
but how can I explain this away? That's where you're going to find me all week. Where can the people find you? And more importantly, no offense, where can they find the podcast?
Yeah, I'm at Iconic Erica Curry on the socials that matter. And you can find me on Poshmark at Iconic Erica, where I have some great wares. I'll make you a steal of a deal on vintage clothing. A lot, sometimes new clothing with tags. Guys, hit me up on Poshmark. I'm an ambassador. But the important part is where you can find this podcast, which is at Trashy Trashy Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Our website is trashytrashypodcast.com. You can find us on YouTube because Google Podcast has gone away. YouTube at Trashy Trashy Pod, where you can listen to this week's podcast and see transcripts of the stories. We also have a merch store, which is trashytrashypodcast.threadless.com, where you can buy shirts that say your favorite trashy phrase or just let people know you support the podcast in general. Leaving a 5-star review in Spotify or Apple Podcast, sharing the podcast. That is the fastest way to leave, to help people find the podcast. Giving it 5 stars, telling people why you're trash or why you listen to Trashy Trashy really does help the podcast grow. So we really appreciate everyone that has rated and reviewed, and would appreciate if you're new to the podcast to rate and review yourself.
Thank you.
If you want longer episodes, if you want ad-free episodes, if you want bonus stories, go to patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast. Tiers start at low as $1.99 a month for all the bonus material. We really appreciate every one of our patrons. Hey, Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.